Have you ever felt like you're not good enough? Like everyone else seems to have it all figured out while you're just trying to keep up? This story will remind you of the quiet power that comes from believing in yourself, even when no one else does. There was once a young woman named Janet. She wasn't the smartest in her class or the most popular, but she had a dream, to become an architect and design buildings that would touch the sky. But life wasn't kind to her. Whenever she shared her dreams, people laughed. Even her aunt once told her, "Janet, stop chasing impossible things. You can't afford school, focus on something realistic." Those words hurt deeply. But instead of giving up, Janet kept going. She took small jobs at construction sites, mixing cement, fetching water, arranging bricks, saving every little she could. While others saw her as just another worker, she saw herself as a student. Every day she'd watch how buildings were shaped, the angles, the designs, the structure. And every night, she would sketch quietly in her small rented room under the flicker of a single bulb. Her notebooks were filled with blueprints no one else believed in. One evening, as Janet sat sketching by the roadside after work, an older architect named Mr. Bennett passed by. He stopped for a moment, watching her pencil dance on paper. "You draw like someone who already sees the building in her heart," he said gently. Startled, Janet looked up and smiled shyly. "I'm just practicing, sir. I want to be an architect one day." Mr. Bennett knelt beside her, studying her rough sketches. They weren't perfect, the lines shaky, the details uneven, but they were alive. He said, "Come by my office tomorrow. Let's see if that dream of yours can stand." The next morning, Janet showed up, nervous but hopeful. That one meeting became the beginning of her transformation. Mr. Bennett took her under his wing, teaching her about design, scale, creativity, and discipline. She soaked up every lesson like dry soil catching rain. But even then, doubt crept in. There were days she'd look at her work and whisper, "I'm not good enough." One afternoon, she made a mistake on a project that nearly cost them an important client. She was crushed. She packed her things quietly, ready to quit before being fired. But Mr. Bennett stopped her at the door. "Janet," he said softly, "confidence doesn't mean never failing. It means believing that you can fix what went wrong." Tears filled her eyes. No one had ever said something so kind yet so true. From that moment, Janet changed. She started trusting her process, learning from each mistake and believing in her potential. Weeks turned to months. Her drawings improved. Her ideas became sharper. And soon she was no longer just an assistant. She was leading small projects on her own. One day she designed a community center in Lagos, a project that became the pride of the city. People who once laughed at her now came to her for help. At the opening ceremony, a young girl asked her, "Miss Janet, how did you become so confident?" Janet smiled and said, "I stopped listening to doubt and started listening to the small voice inside that said, 'Keep going. Believe in yourself, even when no one else does.' You don't need everyone to understand your vision. You just need the courage to keep walking toward it." Confidence isn't arrogance. It's quiet strength, the voice that says, "I can still try again," when the world says, "You're done." Your belief in yourself will always be your greatest foundation. If this story inspired you, subscribe to Echoes of Timeless Wisdom. Every Sunday we share stories that remind you of your strength, your purpose, and your worth. Because when you believe in yourself, even the impossible becomes possible.